Ferrando Massone, 1919 to 2019. It was just about 4 months after the end of the First World War, precisely on the 4th of March, 1919, when two young Genoese shipbrokers, Tito Ugo Ferrando and Amedeo Massone, decided to join their experiences and initiative and founded the Company of Maritime Brokerage and Ship Agency that after them took the name of Ferrando and Massone, SNC. The company's first headquarters was in Piazza de Marini, which is quite close to Piazza Banchi, that at the time was and continued to be for several decades the very center of all maritime activities in Genoa. In this location, the company remained until 1965, when it moved to Piazza Matteotti, and then in 2004 to its present premises of Via Malta. In the years between the two world wars, F&M prospered, and in the 30s, it even became a well-reputed ship-owning operator, with units that stood out for quality, maintenance, and manning. In the first 60s of the last century, the founders decided to retire, and in 1965, the company was definitely taken over by the Fertonani family, Avio and Elio. The new management, however, wished to maintain the company name of Ferrando and Massone in memory of the founders and on account of the reputation related to the name. Today, the helm of the company is in the hands of Guido and Luca Fertonani, Elio's eldest sons. The new owners brought in the company a breath of enthusiasm and innovation, marked by a gradual dropout of the company's traditional activities, such as vessels agency, and the focusing on the new ones that in those very years had started to dominate the market. In particular, the S&P and chartering brokerage of ro-ro, ropacks, and ferry vessels, and later the container carriers. Mr. Ferrando and Mr. Massone would have hardly imagined the great turn that this new type of units would have aroused in the shipping world. They were the great success of the 2-3 decades from the middle 60s to the middle 80s, early 90s. And F&M, as it began to be known, set their footprint in this field, earning a sound reputation amongst the specialists of the sector. A demonstration of the forward thinking that pervaded the new managers is the fact that since 1973, the company has started to use data processors for the storing and dealing of ships' data, the first of which being a Honeywell 58. This, for the time, was a revolutionary way of handling and processing vessels' data. It gave the possibility of satisfying in a very short time any request for information regarding the units in the market. The pioneering procedure drew the attention of the specialized press, such as La Visitore Marittimo in Genoa and Fair Play International magazine, that devoted some articles to what at the time was a fairly new and uncommon innovation. For about 20 years, alongside of the traditional activity of S&P and chartering, the company also dealt with the management of vessels, mainly ro-ros, but also bulk carriers and LPG tankers, including the crew's full management. In the early 80s, the company's activities were implemented by the purchase of a small workshop for ship repairs, located inside the port of Genoa. F&M were also, and still are, very active in the technical and commercial evaluation of fleets, and they often have been requested by banks, tribunals, lawyers, and auditing firms to evaluate fleets belonging to private and public entities, and to act as consultants in the sale, either private or by public auctions, of vessels and whole fleets. Another important business, started in the 80s and still very active, is the brokerage for new building units. Over the years, many important contracts were concluded for the account of Italian ship owners with Italian, Far East, and European shipyards for the building of tankers, ro-ros, and bulk carries. Some 10 years ago, the company also resumed the activity for a long time set aside in the sectors of the dry cargo and cruise ferries. Guido and Luca have always preferred to keep a not too large size, in the belief that maintaining the company into more familiar dimensions would help to better concentrate and make the most of the individual capability, dedication, and commercial skills. This policy seems to have paid off, considering the reputation of seriousness, capacity, and reliability that F&M has been able to attain in these 100 years. The challenge and commitment for the future is not to dissipate this heritage of experience, reputation, and knowledge that has been accumulating over the years, but to endeavor to preserve and strengthen it, and to never cease acting, keeping always in mind what Elio Fertonani used to say. First of all, we have to respect our clients and behave as if their interests were ours. We might not finalize a specific deal, but our principals must always feel that we did our utmost to satisfy their demands, beyond what may be our own interest. Ferrando and Massone, for 100 years on the crest of a wave.